Hello alls! I know, why do I have Disney stuff on it? But that's because I have that sweater from Undies and I felt like the Star Wars thing as well was also perfect, and I see light on my walls that's just amazing with the fairy lights, etc, etc, and I just wanted to be a bit chill. Okay, I have makeup so it's not that chill, but whatever, with this cozy pajama sweater and funny stuff kind of thing, just random as usual, because today we're gonna talk about the Howling Pack. So today I have two announcements to make, one about the Howling Pack Book Club and one about the Howling Pack random, fake, kinda, real-thon thingy, whatever, you know. So, if you've been following me on Instagram and Twitter, you probably know that I asked you to pick the book we will be reading for 2020. You had the choice between Annalise Rising by Brenda Drake, Winterwood by Shea Ernshaw, Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland, and There Will Come a Darkness by Kitty Rose Poole. And the winner with 52.4% is Winterwood by Shea Ernshaw, which I'm super excited about. I mean, I was excited for all the books here, but this one is pretty recent and lots of you have read it already, but not all of you have read it already. So I'm kind of excited to read that one. And excuse me, but the book is actually gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So let me read you the synopsis again, just very quick. Be careful of the dark wood, especially the woods surrounding the towns of Fairhaven. Some say these woods are magical, cursed even. Rumored to be a witch, only Nora Walker knows the truth. She and the Walker woman before her have always shared a special connection with the woods, and it's this special connection that leads Nora to Oliver Huntsman, the same boy who disappeared from the camp for wayward boys weeks ago, and in the middle of the worst snowstorm in years. He should be dead, but here he is, alive and left in the woods with no memory of the time he's been missing. But Nora can feel an uneasy shift in the woods at Oliver's presence, and it's not too long after that Nora realizes she has no choice but to unearth the truth behind how the boy she has come to care so deeply about survived his time in the forest and what led him there in the first place. What Nora doesn't know, though, is that Oliver has secrets of his own, secrets he will do anything to keep buried. Because, as it turns out, he wasn't the only one who went missing on that fateful night all those weeks ago. For as long as there have been fairy tales, we have been warned to fear what lies within the dark woods. And in Winterwood, New York Times bestselling author Ernshaw shows us why. So I'm super excited, especially because it's not like a chunky book. It's like a little over 300 pages, so fair enough. And I'm really intrigued about that one. So, wolves, basically how it's gonna work. I'm gonna set up everything on Goodreads for the people who want to be active on Goodreads, but I will try to be as active as I can on Discord. I'm gonna set up a chat, a conversation, like a room for Winterwood. It's gonna be like split in a few sections. You're gonna have the non-spoilery section and then the spoilery section. And I'm thinking about splitting the book in, I don't know, I'm gonna check how many chapters we have in that book, and I'm gonna split it in the Discord kind of thing, so we can all like talk about it from chapter 1 to 10 and talk about like with spoilers, etc, etc. So if we go like, let's say you finish the book and you go to the spoiler conversation, but everyone is on page 1 or whatever, you're gonna spoil it for everyone, even if it's a spoiler section, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna split it that way. So mostly it's gonna happen on Discord. I'm gonna be as active as I can on Twitter and Instagram for that, but also in my vlogs. And I'm definitely gonna do a reading vlog for that book, but I don't feel comfortable doing a live stream, a live show by myself. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna try to film the reading vlog for that specific book only, and then I'm gonna premiere it on YouTube so we can all watch it together, so I can see your reactions live kind of thing, and we can talk about it and see my reactions, how you react to my reactions kind of thing. So it could be funny. So we're gonna talk about it like maybe like late February or early March, like on YouTube kind of thing. I will ask you what is the best time because we're all on different time zones, etc, etc. So I'm gonna try to do that. And yeah, so it's for January and February, so you have time to pick that book up, or pick the audiobook, or pick the ebook. You don't need to have the physical copy of the book in order to be a part of the Howling Pack. But I'm really intrigued, so I hope you are too. I hope you will be joining the Howling Pack for that, because I cannot wait. I think I said everything I needed to say for the Howling Pack. So Goodreads, Discord, I'm gonna be active on Twitter, Instagram, and I'm gonna try, like, I'm gonna do the reading vlog for that specific book. I don't think there is anything else. So let me know what you think of it, and I'm gonna set up the Goodreads because I feel like, I don't know. Would you like me to set up the Goodreads? I'm gonna do it, but will you be active there? I don't know. Who's using actually Goodreads for book clubs? I would be curious to know. So let me know in the comment. So for the second part, I talked about the Howling Pack readathon kind of thing. It's not really a readathon. There are no prompts or whatever. It's just that we always tend to read YouTubers' favorite books, and I wanted to, for once, not do that and to read your favorite books. So in January and February, I'm gonna have to prioritize your favorite books over the books I'm planning on reading. Of course, there are books like the next book in the Wayward Children series that's coming up in January. I think I will be reading that one, so don't even try to stop me. It's not gonna be on your TBR, I mean on the TBR I'm gonna talk about, but it's gonna be one of my priority books, if that makes any sense. But I asked you on Instagram and Twitter to give me your favorite books. I had many answers. Of course, I'm not gonna pick all the books, so I picked the books that you mentioned more than once. So we're gonna go through them on Trello, as usual, my favorite platform because I have no memory. I'm gonna show you the books I'm planning on reading now. So I just picked the books from my shelves because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 physical books from the 16 books I picked that you mentioned. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe ebooks, but let's start with the first book. So you mentioned so many times Nevernight. I've read Nevernight. I didn't like it that much. It was okay, but a lot of stuff actually bothered me. So I'm not gonna summarize that book here because everyone, I feel, knows about that book. About a girl going to her assassin school kind of thing, the best one, and blah blah, because she wants revenge on stuff. Okay, this is so much more than that, but basically that's it. And I've read the second one, so God's Grave, and it was actually better than the first one because I feel an issue with assassins. I just don't get them. I don't feel anything for them, etc. I just don't care about that kind of trope, etc. And the second book was actually less about learning how to be an assassin and being and acting kind of thing, which makes sense and which I really appreciate actually, because I don't like assassins who are like, yeah, I know, I'm good, I can kill people, you know, I can learn that and that very fast, blah blah. Do it, just do it. That's how I feel. So I read the sequel, so I decided to actually give Dark Dawn a try because I feel like it's gonna be even better than the second one, but I don't know. I don't have it yet, but I'm gonna have I'm gonna get like the ebook because I have the ebook of the first and the second book, but I'm quite intrigued by that one. It's also like, I feel, a chunker, but I have to finish that series, and I feel like everyone wants to finish series, because it was one of my goals in 2019, so I'm gonna continue with that in 2020. Then a few of you mentioned A Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I haven't read that one. That's the first one in the series, right? I think it is. If it's not, I'm gonna read the first one in the series. Yeah, so I just checked on Goodreads. It is actually the first one in the Remnant Chronicles. It has been on my TBR for quite a long time. It is a fantasy YA romance book, so that's why I never picked it up, because it's apparently a romance heavy. And it says here, in a society steeped in tradition, Princess Leia's life follows a preordained course. As first daughter, she is expected to have the revered gift of sight, but she doesn't, and she knows her parents are perpetrating a sham when they arrange her marriage to secure an alliance with a neighboring kingdom to a prince she has never met. On the morning of her wedding, Leia flees to a distant village. She settles into a new life, hopeful, when two mysterious and handsome strangers arrive, and unaware that one is the jilted prince and the other an assassin sent to kill her. Deception abounds, and Leia finds herself on the brink of unlocking perilous secrets, even as she finds herself falling in love. So it sounds like I love the intrigue behind it. I'm scared that the romance is gonna be too heavy for me, but I'm ready to give it a try, Wolves, because you actually made me make that decision, if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try, and we'll see. Then I got another book I've never heard of or I was never planning on reading, and this is Sleep by C.L. Taylor. So this is obviously, as you can see from the cover, a thriller, mystery, fiction kind of thing. So the synopsis: all Anna wants is to be able to sleep, but crushing insomnia, terrifying night terrors, and memories of that terrible night are making it impossible. If only she didn't feel so guilty. To escape her past, Anna takes a job at the hotel on the remote Scottish island of Rum, but when 7 guests join her, what started as a retreat from the world turns into a deadly nightmare. Each of the guests have a secret, but one of them is lying about who they are and why they're on the island. There's a murderer staying in the Bayview Hotel, and they've set their sight on Anna. 7 strangers, 7 secrets, 1 deadly lie. Someone's going to sleep and never wake up. Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. So I will be reading that one, actually. Never thought I would be intrigued by a book I've never heard of. I mean, that's a lie. That's a lie. See what I did? Oh my gosh, please forgive me, Wolves. Okay, next book. Okay, so many of you mentioned that book, and this is Starless Sea. So yes, I will be giving that book a try. I'm scared. I don't even know what it is about, actually. So let me check on Goodreads. So this is a fantasy fiction adult book, in case you didn't know. And Zachary Ezra Rawlings is a graduate student in Vermont when he discovers a mysterious book hidden in the stacks. As he turns the pages, entranced by tales of love-lorn prisoners, key collectors, and nameless acolytes, he reads something strange, a story from his own childhood. Bewildered by this inexplicable book and desperate to make sense of how his own life came to be recorded, Zachary uncovers a series of clues, a bee, a key, and a sword. That led him to a masquerade party in New York, to a secret club, and through a doorway to an ancient library, hidden far below the surface of the earth. What Zachary finds in this curious place is more than just a buried home for books and their guardians. It is a place of lost cities and seas, lovers who pass notes under doors and across time, and stories whispered by the dead. Zachary learns of those who have sacrificed much to protect his realm, relinquishing their sight and their tongues to preserve this archive, and also those who are intent on its destruction. Holy crap, sounds interesting. Together with Mirabelle, a fierce pink-haired protector of the place, and Dorian, a handsome barefoot man with shifting alliances, Zachary travels the twisting tunnels, darkened stairwells, crowded ballrooms, and sweetly soaked shores of this magical world, discovering his purpose in both the mysterious book and in his own life. It sounds pretty good. The reason why I didn't pick it up is because I didn't know what it was about, and now I understand. Even like when you watch the book and you see like the spread edges, you see the bee, the key, and what was the third thing, a sword. Now I understand the book, so I'm even more intrigued now. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to read that one. I should listen to you more often, actually. Then we got The Puppy War. I feel like everyone has read that book but me, so I'm gonna give it a try, especially because the sequel came out. So here it is. You all know what it is about. I know what it is about pretty much, so I'm gonna give that book a try as well. Okay, so many of you mentioned Queen of Nothing. So the last book in the whatever series it is, but the first one is The Cruel Prince. I've read The Cruel Prince. It was 3 stars for me. I wasn't like blown away by it. It was like okay, but still very boring and still very predictable, but it was different from what I read recently, kind of thing. So I decided that I will continue with the series. So I'm gonna first read The Wicked King, and then maybe Queen of Nothing, but I'm gonna try to read like first like Wicked King, sorry. And then if I still have time, I'm gonna read Queen of Nothing in January and February, but I'm gonna continue with the series. Of course, I'm gonna read that one. So I'm planning on starting it in December for buddy read, but let's be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish it by the end of the year. I hope so, but that's also a priority because you mentioned it so many times, so many times. And this is an adult book, and I love how it says here, impossible to put down, and Stephen King did say that, so I'm intrigued. And there is a lot of warning for that book, so I'm like, okay, but I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued. So it's also a chunker kind of thing, not that chunker, but yes, a chunker, over 400 pages, but I'm definitely planning on reading it, so yeah. Okay, Renegades, it's time for me to actually start that series. I don't know if I will continue with that series, but at least I will give the first book a try. I already have it as an ebook, and I'm quite intrigued, to be honest, because so many people talked about that book, and the last book, like Supernova, no, it wasn't Supernova, whatever, the last book in this series came out, and everyone was like, whoa, I cried, I laughed, and blah blah blah, so I want to give it a try. Then we have that book, which sounds just perfect because it's House of Salt and Sorrows, and actually it's like very dark apparently, so I'm really intrigued. It says here, step inside a fairy tale by Stephanie Garber. It sounds like an eerie, lovely 12 dancing princesses retelling, full of ghosts and gods and a fascinating waterfront world, and I'm writing it from behind my fingers. And I'm reading it from behind my fingers by Melissa Albert. So I'm really intrigued, especially because it's a retelling. It's supposed to be dark. The cover is absolutely to die for. So it has been on my TBR for a long time, but I never got to it. But I will do it. No, I mean in 2020. Then we have a Stephen King book, and it's gonna be not the Institute, but it's gonna be Pet Sematary. You named it like a few times as well, so I'm gonna give that one a try, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it. I don't know how come I haven't read it yet, but it's gonna be like on my TBR. You all know what it is about. Pet Sematary. Everything is in the title. Then Romanov, of course, by Nadine Brandes. It's time for me to actually read it. I was so excited when it came out, and I was like, I'm gonna read it right away, and then so many other books got in the way, so I didn't. But this is a retelling of the Romanov story, the Russian family, blah blah blah, so I'm intrigued. This is a special cover that I got in a Shop of Great box, I think, and yeah, I prefer the black one, but it's a unique cover, so I'm like, okay. But I'm really intrigued. It's not like a huge book, so I should like fly through it. Aurora Rising. You mentioned that book so many times, and I feel like that's the case for all the books here. But I was planning on reading it, and I was like, I don't know if I should buy the book or I should listen to the audiobook or I should get the ebook, etc. So I think I'm gonna try the audiobook because apparently it's a full cast of characters and it's amazingly well done. You all know pretty much what it is about. Everyone has read it but me, just as usual, nothing strange in there. But yeah, I'm planning on doing it. I was planning to do it this year, but it's not gonna happen, so hopefully early 2020 I'm gonna do it, especially because traffic, and if it's an audiobook I'm gonna read it and finish it in no time. So I'm quite excited about that sci-fi because my genre is actually sci-fi. How come I don't read enough sci-fi? I only read fantasy or whatever. I want to read more sci-fi, so I'm gonna start with that one. Sight. I've been willing to start a series like for a little over a year now, and I don't know why I haven't. I mean, I know why I haven't. So many other books I needed to read first, but I'm gonna try to do it this year. I really want to try because it sounds interesting. Actually, I've heard a lot of people saying that the further you go in the series, the less interesting it gets, but I'm still intrigued. So yeah, you know, people, they stop dying, etc. So people need to be killed, whatever. Okay, that's all I understood from the book, but I'm intrigued. Then someone mentioned Heard Song by TJ Klune. Klune, K-L-U-N-E, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, which is actually the third book in the Green Greek series, and the first one is Wolf Song. It has been on my TBR for such a long time, not because there is the word wolf in the title, but just because I was generally intrigued by it. The reason why I never got to it, it was because apparently it is romance heavy. It's like fantasy, paranormal, as you can tell from the title, like wolf, whatever, shapeshifters, you know what I mean. It's also LGBT, I don't know if I told you that, so fantasy, etc, etc. So I'm really intrigued, but at the same time I'm scared that it's gonna be like too romance heavy for me, but I'm gonna give it a try. It has been mentioned only once, but it has been on my TBR like for the longest, and it says here, Ox was 12 and his dad taught him a very valuable lesson. He said that Ox wasn't worth anything and people would never understand him. Then he left. Ox was 16 when he met a boy on the road, the boy who talked and talked and talked. Ox found out later the boy hadn't spoken in almost 2 years before that day, and that the boy belonged to a family who had moved into the house at the end of the lane. Ha! Neil Gaiman, whatever. Ox was 17 when he found out the boy's secrets, and it painted the world around him in colors of red and orange and violet, of alpha and beta and omega. Ox was 23 when murder came to town and tore a hole in his head and heart. The boy chased after the monster with revenge in his blood-red eyes, leaving Ox behind to pick up the pieces. It's been 3 years since that fateful day, and the boy is back, except now he's a man and Ox can no longer ignore the song that howls between them. You know, just knowing wolves and just knowing howling and just know that kind of stuff makes me really want to read it like right away. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I'm definitely gonna give it a try because it sounds like I'm gonna fall in love with the story. The way it's summarized really piqued my interest even more. And Ox, I've never heard of that name and I'm just a fan of it. Like Ox, this is so like Ox, like perfect for a wolf actually. Ox, like someone with like a character and a strong destiny or whatever, you know. Ox, what, I don't know, I'm losing myself here, but I mean, I really love the name, so I'm definitely gonna pick up that book. So thank you for mentioning that book actually, because I don't think I would have ever picked it up because I want to, but so many books, so yeah. And the next book you mentioned is actually A Curse, Dark and Lonely, which I've read in 2018 because I got the art, etc. and I got the Free Loot limited edition here, exclusive edition. This book was actually one of my favorite books of 2018, so I'm not gonna reread it because I remember everything that was in the book. Like, I remember freaking everything. I read it in one sitting, I think. It was like just amazing. So I'm not gonna read that one, but the sequel is actually coming out in 2020, and so I think it's January, let me check. So yeah, I was right, that book is coming up in January, early January, so I ordered actually the Fairy Loot exclusive edition as well, because sometimes when they do exclusive covers for the first book, they do for the sequel and they give you an early access because you actually bought the box with the first exclusive cover kind of thing. But I got the sequel to that one and I'm really excited for that one, so hopefully I will get to it early 2020. I hope it is as good as the first one because I'm telling you, I read it in one sitting and it is a little over 500 pages. No? Yes? I think so. So I'm really intrigued. This is basically a retelling of A Beauty and the Beast, and it is really different because it's so much more modern and it's not only about romance, it's about everything around it, and I just ate that book when I was reading it. So yeah. And the last book I'm gonna mention is not a book that you actually named, but it's a book that Alex recommended to me so many times, that I put on so many TBRs but never got to it. So that's gonna be the first book I'm gonna read in 2020, in January 2020. And this is in French, Covenant, but I think in English it's Half-Blood by Jennifer Armentrout. I have another book by her, Storm and Shadows or something like that. I haven't read, but I'm really intrigued by that book because it is actually her favorite book, so I wanted to read that one as well. It's a paranormal fantasy, new adult mythology romance kind of thing. The Hamatoi descend from the unions of gods and mortals, and the children of two Hamatoi purebloods have godlike powers. Children of Hamatoi and mortals, well, not so much. Half-bloods only have two options: become trained sentinels who hunt and kill demons or become servants in the homes of the pure. 17-year-old Alexandria would rather risk her life fighting than waste its scrubble toilets, but she may end up slumming it anyway. There are several rules that students at the Covenant must follow. Alex has problems with them all, but especially rule number 1. Relationships between pures and halves are forbidden. Unfortunately, she's crushing hard on the totally hot pureblood Hayden, but falling for Hayden isn't her biggest problem. Staying alive long enough to graduate the Covenant and become a Sentinel is. If she fails in her duty, she faces a future worse than death or slavery, being turned into a demon and being hunted by Hayden, and that would kind of suck. And demon is actually D-A-I-M-O-N, so that's why I'm not saying demon, but it's a demon. So that's the reason for my mispronunciation, I guess. But yeah, well, that's it. Actually, I just mentioned 16 books I was planning on reading in January and February. So if everything goes to plan, I'm going to be able to read 8 books in January and 8 books in February, as long as other books I need to read, because I'm gonna try to read as many as I can in January, because in February actually there is the Peloton and the Demonathon, and I'm also going away. So normally I'm going away, so that will be difficult for me to read as much, but we'll try that. Okay, so to summarize, I'm gonna read 16 books that you picked, and for the Howling Pack Book Club we're gonna read Winterwood by Shea Ernshaw. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much for actually giving me your best books of 2019. I'm super excited to dive into them all, because I want to know why you love them so much, actually. And if I'm trashing, or if I'm hating, or if I don't like a book you loved, please don't take it personally. It's okay, we all have different tastes. So one day I was listening to someone who just trashed the Wayward Children series, and I was like so shocked, and it hurt me to be honest, but it's absolutely fine. And I left a comment saying, oh, I'm so sorry you didn't like it, that's one of my favorite series, but I get your point, that's okay. Don't continue with the series if you don't like it. I hope you will find other favorite books or whatever. So I was like, I felt bad, but at the same time it wasn't my fault, and it's okay not to like every single book in the world, because it's just not possible to have that kind of love for every single book in the world. Like, it's not possible. It's not possible. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if you will do the Howling Pack Book Club read, if we're gonna read that book all together, or if you've read it already, did you like it or not? If you're planning on doing the readathon, the Howling Pack readathon, please let me know. It's absolutely, there is no obligation, this is me doing it, but you can ask your community to actually pick books for you. It can be like their favorite books of 2019, could be their favorite fantasy of 2019, they could be their favorite sci-fi or their favorite non-fiction or whatever, you know what I mean? So if you pretty sure you're only into one genre, just ask them to pick only from one genre, and that's it. That's a community thing. It's all about the Howling Pack, it's all about the community, it's all about friendship, and you know, talking to each other, discovering new books, and talking about books, etc, etc. So no pressure, no pressure, no pressure. But yeah, wolves, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section as usual, and until next time, take care, wolves.